Hi everyone, welcome to this LinkedIn Live in a very special month of October. My goodness, we've got some great conversations coming up, and we're so pleased that Keisha Swaby is joining us for the first conversation. Hi Keisha, thank you so much for your company.
Hi, Donna. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, this is going to be a really interesting one. It is Dyslexia Awareness Time this week and across the whole of October, isn't it? Amongst many other awareness times. And I really want to have a chat with you about dyslexia and about Black History Month and all the different layers that we know about conversations really that we have in October. But before we get started, I just want to introduce you and the kind of topics that we're going to have a chat about. As I said, everyone, my name's Donna. I'm part of the Box family, and I'm your host for these LinkedIn Lives. I've got shoulder long brown hair, and I'm wearing a wonderful white Box t-shirt. But more importantly than me, I'm joined by Keisha Swaby. Now, my goodness, Keisha, your resume is a mile long. You are a neurodiversity advocate, and a lot of us who are very active on LinkedIn have probably seen you do such fabulous work. You're a thought leader, an activist, an actress, and I've seen you in a number of productions, an author, and we're going to talk about your book as well, and a radio presenter. The list goes on and on and on. So, thank you so much for your company on this conversation around dyslexia.
Thank you so much, Donna. So I'm Keisha Swaby. I'm based in Manchester. At the moment, I'm wearing my branded products. I've got a baseball cap on and a white t-shirt. And I'm so honored to be invited here, Donna, to speak about Black History Month and neurodiversity, mainly dyslexia and dyspraxia, and how I navigate the whole world of it in my own way.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We're honoured to have you, Keisha. So let's get started then. Tell us a little bit about your journey with dyslexia. Let's focus on dyslexia.
Yeah. So, like many others, I'm a late diagnosis. So, I was diagnosed at the age of 41 during my journey at university. It was during the last few weeks, actually, whilst I was embarking on my dissertation. The amazing Leslie, I took my work to her and she checked it. And she said to me, Keisha, didn't know that you're dyslexic. And that word, when I heard it, it was a life changing moment because I've always heard about the word dyslexia being thrown about, but I've never associated with myself. I've always known that there's certain elements and certain challenges that I have. So I was in the last few weeks, so I got all the emails flashing about the support services, and the amazing university that I was with, they got me assessed, a 3-hour assessment, and from that, it was I was diagnosed with severe dyslexia and dyspraxia, and since then, I can't tell you how much that has been great for me as a person and as a Black woman, navigating every day. I also have children who are neurodiverse. So for me, the mission is so close to my heart. And, there's a massive thing as well in the Black community where we have a lot of shame and stigma that's attached to dyslexia and neurodiversity as a whole. So, yeah, but I'm sure we're going to expand a little bit more on that later on in the interview as well.
Yeah, thanks for being so honest about that, Keisha. And I think a lot of people listening to you talking about how life changing that identification was will take great heart from that, I think. Obviously, from just listening to you answer that question, we really get a sense of how passionate you are in terms of breaking through the variety of barriers that we know the neurodivergent community face across our whole society, really. You've talked there about obviously being a very proud Black neurodivergent woman. How important then is Black History Month to you? We know that October is also Black History Month, and we know that there's overlaps as you share. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how important this time is regarding
This
that
one,
also.
it's a mixed bag for me because I think that we really don't need a month to be celebrating Black History Month because I am Black every day. So it's a case of saying this October is for Black History Month. For me, I see it as yes, it is. However, personally, my personal journey and everything else, and all the things that I see each day, It's every day for me. It's not
Yeah,
just a month for
of
me. It's
course.
every
Yeah,
day. But it's in a way, it's important to talk about and bring these things to the forefront, because I think Black History Month being in October, a lot of people kind of pay more attention to what's happening around. So talking about neurodiversity and dyslexia, particularly around this time, and also being dyslexia awareness month or week or wherever you call it. However, it's every day for me again.
yes,
I don't just put aside a certain time of the year or say this is for that, because I can't put it down and say I'm dyslexic today, but I'm not dyslexic next month, but I'm not dyslexic next week or next year. It's an everyday thing for me. So I'm always advocating for it. And I think it's more highlighted now looking at all the things that goes on in October. There's a lot of activities, and I think it's great to bring it around now anyway to talk about, because as I say, more attention are based on focusing on that month of being Black history. So yeah, but on the whole, for me personally, it's every day.
yeah. So mixed emotions, really. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
Keisha, isn't
definitely.
it? With all these awareness times, they're really useful, and actually, we're going to have a lot of conversations this month.
Yeah,
So it helps, I guess, the awareness time in terms of, raising those conversations with folks who maybe don't always think about these things. But
yeah,
you're right, it can't just be something we think about just in October or just during Dyslexia Awareness Week. It's got to be across, all days, every
yeah,
day, every year. An interesting theme this year of Black History Month as um, reclaiming narratives. And actually, for Dyslexia Awareness Time this year, it's what's your story? So there's a lot of ideas about people sharing their voices, you know, getting control, getting power from changing the narratives, sharing stories, personal stories, and so on, our own narratives, if I can put it that way. Now, one of the first times I met you was about your brilliant book, and the backdrop that you're sitting there in
yeah.
front of is the cover of your book, isn't it? The title, it couldn't get much better than this, Keisha. Empowering Dyslexics, Blessed and Gifted. Bearing in mind the theme then that we're having this time around for Black History Month, this reclaiming the narratives. How do you think your book helps to reclaim the narrative for dyslexia and also for people of colour as well? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, because I'm glad that you use that word narrative, because that's something I've always trying to change
Yeah,
on my journey of advocacy, because I'm trying to change it from the negative connotations that's used around neurodiversity, dyslexia, and all the others. I never say it's a learning difficulty. I always change narrative to say it's a learning difference,
yes,
and from that, it will bring the attention to people to say, hang on a minute. Oh, so it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not anything that I should shy away from. I don't need to be embarrassed. Because for me, personally, I say a lot of people may think, because of their own experience, they may not see it as their superpower. However, me as a Black woman, I promote it as my superpower, because I am the person I am because of who I am through being dyslexic. I am dyslexic and I'm proud to shout about it. I'm an advocate all through and through, all about it. So for me, changing the narrative from the start of my journey of being diagnosed, it's always been that way, where I am changing the narrative to say, be positive about what it is. Only is that what you've got. It's nothing to be ever shamed about. It's nothing not to shout about, because once you learn about the strengths and focus on the strengths that you have rather than on the weaknesses or the challenges that you may have, you may think, oh my gosh, I've got all these other amazing skills that totally overpower the challenges and the weaknesses that you may think that you have.
yeah, love it. It's so positive. And as I was getting to know you, I've known you for a number of years now, that was just so exciting to hear you talk in those ways. Do you mind sharing the journey that you went on, you know, from the identification
Yeah.
through to then being an author and putting this book together? Give us a
Yeah.
little idea of what happened, because that's a remarkable journey.
Yeah, so at the end of after completing my degree, I came out with a first class honors,
Amazing.
which showed me and proved to me that all the time when I was growing up and thinking that, I'm stupid, or I may not have heard these words saying that you may be dumb and all of these things, you're not good enough or whatever. So coming out with a first class honors degree, then it showed me that yes, I am brilliant, I am amazing, I can achieve, I've got it all inside of me, I am enough. So from then I started to see, look around and started to look at the publications that were out there, started to see the advocacy that was happening. It was especially in the Black community. And I started to observe that, you know what, there needs to be more like someone who looks like me from the community promoting the greatness of being dyslexic. So I decided to write a book whilst I was doing my math, because straight as I finished my degree, I went straight on to doing a master's. If somebody had said to me, people had said to me further on in the journey when I was doing my degree, are you going to carry on and do your master's? And that was like the worst question I could ever hear at the time. But being the determined person that I am and the resilience that I have, I went straight on to doing the masters during lockdown and writing the book, because I was aware that being invited to speak for half an hour or 20 minutes or however long, it's not going to put all my experience from way back, coming up to the age 41, being a neurodiverse mom as well, supporting my child, all of those things. So I thought the best thing that I can do is to get my voice out there in a massive way, is to write a book, so that my book can be, my book's in America, Dubai, places that I've never been myself, but it's there. So that's the power of me putting pen to paper and writing that book. I'm not going to sit here and say it was an easy journey,
No.
because I had times when I was thinking, why am I doing a master's? I've got my dissertation to do and I'm writing a book as well. And my aim was to do a book which is not too overwhelming. So I stuck to about 35,000 words of doing the book, whilst writing a 10,000 word essay as well. And then trying the challenge of switching my language from academia, academically, to the lay language that my community would understand, and anyone that pick up my book can just read a paragraph and understand it. So it has been an amazing journey. And I remember working with my publisher, and the amount of to and fro in regards to my thank you list and all the things that I've put in there, because my empathy was just coming through the book, where I wanted to thank everybody that I've ever come in contact with. And she was like, no, hang on a minute here, your book is just going to be. So it's all of those emotions that was going through. And at what point I was thinking, I have writer's block, and then I'll do a paragraph, then I'll put it down, and I'd start again. So yeah, it's been a journey and a half, Donna, honestly.
Yeah, it's amazing. I suppose your book is the ultimate what's your story, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's the theme this year, what's your story?
yeah.
And in parts, this is what your story is this book. What can people expect if they think, oh, actually, I really like the sound of this, I want to go out and purchase it? And I'm thinking, is it on Amazon and places like that, Keisha?
I tend to promote my book through myself, basically,
Okay, so
because
people can reach out to
so
you if they
yeah,
like,
anyone want
yeah,
to
perfect.
find out more. I've also got it in audio, so they can connect
Oh,
with me and I
great.
can send them the information. Because what I find with certain platform, I've spent a lot of time and money invested in my book, and using certain platform is not very cost effective for me. So I sell it myself at a reduced rate of £10 to
Great.
anyone that want to, and depends where they are based in the country. There'll be like probably about £3 odd for postage to get it to them.
Yeah,
That's the way I
brilliant.
work with my book.
Yeah,
So
brilliant.
yeah,
Well, what
anyone,
can we expect? So people can reach out to you if they'd like
yeah,
a copy. I can highly recommend it. It's brilliant.
yeah.
But just walk us through what folks can expect that's in there.
Okay, so my journey actually started in Jamaica. So I was born in Jamaica and I came to the UK at 14. So that tells my journey from being in the schooling system, transitioning to coming to the UK, transitioning to that schooling system, how the challenges that I faced. Also, being a neurodiverse mom, there's things about that in there. Driving on the road, things that I get up to when I'm driving, and going around roundabout 6 times and all those things, because I also have dyspraxia, which is a coordination, and going through the system of college, university. It's a book in the workplace as well, so it's an all round the book. Basically, it's there and to help parents as well to identify what they need to look out for with their children to get that send support in schools. So it's definitely an all rounder that anyone can pick it up and turn to a paragraph, and they will take something away from the book.
Yeah,
Definitely, I
brilliant.
guarantee that.
Honestly, it's a tour de force.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. You've mentioned being a parent a few times of neurodivergent children, and I think, for a lot of us, it's a hard journey for ourselves when we're navigating through our own neurodiversity. And then we've got this other layer for some of us that were parents, grandparents, and so on, of potentially neurodivergent children too. I'm just curious about the juggling. You talked about your studies, writing the book, and so on. And as I introduced you, Keisha, as I said, your resume is a mile long because you do so much work in our community, but you're also an actress, a radio presenter, obviously an author, and so on. How have you managed to navigate through all those different roles that you play and do them really, really well, actually, as well as being a mum?
Yeah.
Talk me through how that worked for you.
I get this question quite a lot actually when I
Do
do
you?
talks.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
interesting.
people see my activities on social media and they see what I get up to all the time. But I've always have to have that in the forefront that my children are watching everything that I do, and I have to be that inspiration for them. It's so great when I take them to events with me, and they often love to come to events because they like to sell the book and promote mommy and all of that. And it's great because you don't sometimes as a parent you don't realize how much they're absorbing, and until
Yes,
the opportunity come up for you to say, for them to promote you or talk about your mommy going to school. They tell everybody what mommy gets up to on TV, and she's got a book out on all of these things, and they absorb everything. And I have to give them that positive example that being dyslexic, you can achieve anything, you can do things. We may be doing a million and one things, but we are out there doing it, and we're showing that we're doing it. And going back to being a parent that's neurodiverse as well, we also have our own challenges. When my first daughter, who's 23, and she was diagnosed at the start of her university journey with dyspraxia. And I remember when she was in school, she was struggling. I was struggling with hidden dyslexia. I didn't know. So imagine that, where I felt after I got my diagnosis, the penny dropped. I was thinking, oh wow, so that's why I wasn't able to participate more with her homework when she brings it home from school. All these things when you had to do tasks when you take it home, and I had my own challenges going on. So being a parent, but now I've got my diagnosis, I am working towards the strengths that I have rather than the weaknesses and the challenges that I have. So she can look back at also, she can say, right, so that's why my mom wasn't able to. So it's kind of having that balance as well. And I've got great support around me. My family, my daughter's 23. I've got my husband as well. They support me to be able to do what I need to do. But there's times where I just want to just sit back and just relax and just watch some good TV. And I
yeah.
often do
Which
that.
often you're on,
Yeah,
Keisha, by the way.
yes. I
I've
do
seen some good
coronation
TV
streams.
that you're actually on.
Yeah. So it's important to kind of take that time out and don't feel guilty about it either, because
Yeah,
you're up and down. I can't tell you how busy I've been in the past few weeks, up and down doing stuff, but I have to be there doing it because I have got 4 children and I have to provide for them as well. And I've got to ensure that they can see that you don't have to just sit back and think that, oh, I have this, so I can't do this and I can't do that. You can still go out there and achieve.
yeah, so inspirational. And I guess it's thinking about yourself as a role model
Yeah,
for your children. I mean, we all think that as parents anyway. But I suppose when we're thinking about neurodiversity, it really comes to the forefront, doesn't it? I loved what you said earlier. You're enough. And it's that message, I think, to you kids about thinking that you're enough as you are,
yeah.
you're wonderful as you are,
And
isn't it?
also representation, Donna, is
Definitely,
also,
yes.
yeah, when people have to be able to see me as a
Yeah,
normal person, whatever normal is, or someone that they can relate to doing these things. Because often I say to people, I'll be on the street sometimes and people say to me, oh wow, you're doing this and doing this, and I always play it down. Even when I do roles on TV and people message me and say, oh, have I just seen this? And I always say no, because for me, I'm a very humble person
yeah,
as well. So I say, no, it was me. And then they send me a screenshot, and I said, yeah, it was me. So all of those things where I've got to just keep on and to inspire others. That's a big thing for me as well, because people are thinking, oh, there's a lot of people who don't have the self-confidence. And I was that person back in the day when I didn't have my voice that I have now. and I do these things and I post, and sometimes half the things that I'm doing in the background I don't even post it
Yeah.
because it's quite a lot, and I've never been a person who boast about anything that I do. But the reason why I post certain things is to inspire others to say, look at her, if she can do it, so can I. So I do things and I put it out there, not for anyone. It's not to impress anyone, but to impress upon them what you can achieve whilst you're being neurodiverse and whilst you have all the challenges. So yeah,
Yeah,
big
I love it. And I think, as I said earlier, a lot of folks will have seen you on LinkedIn doing those things, at awards, receiving awards. Thank you for what you do for our community. It
yeah.
does make a difference. And you're right, we need representation. You can't be what you can't see,
See,
isn't
yeah,
it? And you're out there doing all this brilliant work, Keisha, and it
yeah,
makes a difference. We're thinking this month here at Norabox, because this October is a very special time, as I've said earlier. Lots of awarenesses, lots of conversations happening. We've got lots of LinkedIn lives happening as a result of that during October. And the theme that we're thinking about here at Norabox, which we figured out kind of ties everything together, is about being your whole self.
yeah,
And whatever that means to you, your true self. I suppose it comes back to what you said about being enough, isn't it?
yeah.
I'd love to know what your advice is to folks who are listening to this conversation about how we can start to be our whole selves, Keisha, whether that's in our workplace, we've been talking about as parents, just in and of ourselves as well.
I love that question because I am big on this one. And one of the main thing that I'd say to people is own who you are. Be proud of who you are. It doesn't matter. Don't compare yourself to anyone because everyone's journey is different. I can't be you, Donna. You can't be me. It's just one of them things. Whilst I even have twins, but they're so unique in their own way. They're not the same people. It's completely different and in so many elements. So what I say to people is own it. If you know that you may have challenges or if you've not been diagnosed or anything like that, because what I can say to anyone about a lot of people say, well, I don't want that label. I don't want to be labeled as that. I don't want to be labeled a dyslexic because it's negative or whatever. However, when I got diagnosed through university and went on to university to do my masters, I had all the support in place
Yeah,
because I had a piece of paper to say that I am dyslexic. So I was able to access the support that I needed to get through. And I cannot tell you, always have to speak about Manchester Metropolitan University and the support that I received from them. Why did I get that support? Is because I had my diagnosis. So I had a piece of paper to say that this is what the support that she needs, and these are the things that we need to look at put into place. I had a PLP. I had extra time to do with exams. I had assistive technology that I can use within my lectures. So this is what I'm saying. You have to own whatever it is and work with it. Don't be shy. Don't be shying away from it. So important in the workplace as well, because you're in that workplace, in that environment. I was that person. I was there. I was undiagnosed. Kudos to them. They didn't know what I was going through. They knew what I was going through, but however, I had hidden challenges. Had they known, they would be able to sit with me and help me and support me in the way that I needed to reach my full potential in that role. It ended up me leaving that job of 12 years in local authority. So it's so important. But if I knew then, I would be flying the flag in the office to say, right, this is who I am. This is how I do things. This is how I deal with my emails. This is how I want to be communicated with on a different level. So it's so important about owning yourself and owning whatever it is that you're going through. And anyone who's out there who's thinking, I'm in that workplace, but I don't want to disclose that I'm this or that and that. You, it's in your best interest and the employer's best interest to disclose.
yeah.
And the quicker you can do it to access the support that's available, no one should be looking on you. This is why the awareness is so key. And I'm always championing the awareness, especially in the workplace, because no one should be frowned upon or looked at differently because they've got the neurodiverse in any way. Because we are all neurodiverse in some way or another. Many may be identified, but some's not. Many may be diagnosed, some's not. But we all have something going on, and we all learn things differently. That's all I got to say on that one.
Wow. Wise words there, Keisha. And I love what you say about, owning it. I think that's what we aspire to, isn't it? That we own who we are and we feel confident enough to share that. I was talking in a conversation last time around with our Mel McGeeky about masking and so on. And she talked a lot about the importance of community as part of
Yeah,
owning it. And I think, the work that you do, what we've been chatting about, is really important to help people get to that stage, I think, where they can own it and
yeah.
figure out who they are. It's by looking at people like yourself, the work we do here at Neurobox, and many other voices in the community, I think.
Another thing that I'd add to that as well, Donna,
Yes, please
find,
do.
find your tribe. My tribe is
Oh,
you
love it.
guys.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys, I have such I absolutely I want to put it out there because I need to go and see LinkedIn because wherever I go, I speak to people about LinkedIn and the power of this platform because most of my connections and most of the people that I work with and my tribe of people, that's where they are.
Yeah,
That is really, and I meet people and often say to them, whether they're neurodiverse or not, and they're in a business space, I said, if you're not using that platform for your business, you're really missing out. Because once you find your tribe and you find people, you kind of think, oh, so I'm not the only one who's going through this. I'm not the only one, and there is support out there. I can reach out to certain people. I know that if I need something, I can reach out to you, Donna, at any time. I can reach out to
always.
your box. I can reach out to so many other people, and why is because we've got a great community there
Yeah,
and we've created that.
yeah.
So
It, it's a special time, Keisha. I think we've all shown up for each other, haven't we? Which
yeah,
is really exciting.
yeah.
Do you feel optimistic for the future then, bearing in mind where we're at now? Yes, we've still got a way to go. Are we going to a better place?
We have made so much stride in the past. I remember the first time I actually came across the work that all these amazing people are doing on that platform and to watch the journey of everyone and to see the awareness, the work that you do, Donna Neurobots, the work that you've done previously, and everybody else, just everyone, so many names that I could mention right now. But we have come along leaps and bounds. And another great thing that I've noticed as well is workplaces are listening now. They
Yeah,
are becoming more aware that the talents that's out there and the talents that you're missing out on from neurodiverse and changing the procedures and policies that you have in place that often neurodiverse people can feel overwhelmed with in so many ways because I was that one again in the workplace who I went for promotion 4 times. However, each time I went for a promotion, the interview always had a test attached to it. I didn't have the questions beforehand. I didn't know what the test was going to involve. So all those little things that are changing right now where it's becoming so much more inclusive and things are changing for the better. I am just really proud, and it would be great to see in the next 10 years from now for the next generation, like my children who are in school and embarking into high school, how things will become. Because what I've noticed with the I don't know if it's Gen Y generation or
Z.
Gen X or
Gen
X.
Z are young people now. Yeah, Gen
Yeah,
Z.
the young
Yeah,
people now, they are so proud of being
yes,
neurodiverse, and they're
yes,
not. My daughter was like, "Oh yeah, I'm neurodiverse. So what?
yeah.
That's it. That's part of me." So the attitudes are really changing, and it's good to see. And it's down to all the awareness and the work that all these great people are doing.
Yeah, I love it. I knew this conversation was such a perfect one to kick us off into October. Keisha, I cannot thank you enough. There's been lots of messages coming from you about being enough, about owning it, finding your tribe, finding your community. Amazing. So yes, as I said, everyone, wasn't she brilliant? And she truly is. So thank you. We can't thank you enough. Please know anybody who's listening to this, you might just be at the beginning of your story with
Yeah,
dyslexia.
yeah,
As Keisha says, you're not on your own. Find your community, reach out. We're here at Nora Box. I'm here. Keisha's there. There's lots of us around. And I can highly recommend Keisha's book as well. It is brilliant because I think, Keisha, if somebody just on the beginning of that journey, your book is a great inspirer, I think, for people to start to think, okay, I am going to own it. I am going to be, my whole self, the best version of myself as well. So thank you, Keisha, for everything you do, and more power to you. Keep doing what you're doing. And I
Thank you,
can't
Donna.
wait till I see you pop up on TV again in the not too distant
I
future
will be soon. I will
somewhere.
be soon. If you've been watching this week, a certain soap this
Ah,
Wednesday and Friday
okay.
was on
Yes,
that.
I'll
So
keep my eyes peeled.
then I've been doing some more filming since
Love
then.
it.
So yeah.
Thank you. Well, thank you, everyone. What a brilliant conversation to start off our awareness time in October. Please stay tuned. We've started, Keisha set the bar high here, but we know we've also got some other great guests coming along as well. So we hope we can welcome you to some future LinkedIn conversations. Take care, everyone. Until next time.
Thanks, Donna.